Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Damon Campbell with KarmaloopTV here at St. Andrews in Detroit with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Yelawolf, and here in Detroit for the third time. You're watching KarmaloopTV. Shameless plug. Album's about to come out. Love Story. Early next year. We've had a great year. Singles out. And that's it. I'm out of here.
Great to meet you, man. Definitely appreciate your time.
Oh, God.
And, the Catfish Billy nickname's actually quite appropriate, I find, because, for example, is it true that your last name could have potentially been Gill? Like, what's the story there?
Gil?
Yeah.
Oh, like my dad's name?
Is that the situation?
I don't even know. I was told forever that the Atha. My name is Michael Wayne Atha, and I was told it was Cherokee forever. And then I come to find that it could be German, so I've just been had.
Okay.
So I don't know. I do have Cherokee in my family, like my dad and my natural father. He ain't my goddamn dad, but
Yeah.
The sperm donor.
Right.
And so yeah, I think that there's gills in the family. But why would Catfish Billy have anything to do with gills?
Well, because fish breathe with gills.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's what I was thinking there.
Oh, hey. Good one.
Thanks.
Are you feeling like a battle rapper today?
No.
Because you're in Detroit at St. Andrews.
I figured I had to bring it.
Get the 8 mile metaphor.
Yeah.
Dropping.
But speaking of which, you are signed to Shady after all, but I do find that your career has been, at times at least, kind of overshadowed by beef, due in large part, I'm sure, to pricks like me always bringing it up. But as unfortunate as it is, I was thinking maybe it could even be some family karma, because when she was younger, I understand your mom actually, ironically enough, stole the Hamburglar.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. How the fuck did you follow my mom on Facebook or something?
No.
Is she like? Okay, well, yeah, she stole the Hamburglar. Yeah, her and a group of friends, I think, like, and I guess it's back when they used to have the big plastered statues,
really?
plastic, the whole McDonald's squad, the Hamburglar,
Right.
Grimace, all those weird hamburger characters that
Yeah.
made no sense. But yeah, they stole the Hamburglar, and there was I think 1,000 hamburger reward for the return.
Oh, really?
Or some shit like that. So her and her friends said they found it and,
Oh,
and
no
took
shit.
it back and got the sacks of burgers, I guess.
Yeah. And speaking of returning
She
things,
spun it on Gadsden.
yeah. And speaking of returning things to the rightful owner, I understand that's what you ended up doing in kind of a roundabout way with one of M's early demo tapes.
Yeah, I found an old demo tape of his, like, in '02 in Nashville. Not Nashville, in New York, my bad. And, yeah, I just put it in my pocket, took it home, and
Like, where was it exactly?
it was on the floor and behind some speakers, along with, like, a pile of other old dusty demo tapes that this label had just kind of, like, whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, but I saw it and I knew who it was and I knew what it was. So yeah, 10 years later, something like that, I put it in his hands in the studio.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was his reaction?
He remembered it. He remembered making it. He remembered the apartments he was living in with Royce at the time.
Wow.
And yeah, it was his handwriting. And he overdubbed an Into Deep tape.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Which is even more classic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Crazy. And he was, of course, eventually picked up by Dr. Dre, whereas you were originally discovered by Dr. Kersey.
Oh, yeah. I was discovered by that fucker real early. Actually, I discovered his paddle And Dr. Kersey was the principal in Carter Lawrence Middle School in Nashville, Tennessee. It was a school at the time surrounded, well, it's still surrounded by projects, but now it's a magnet school. Back then, it was really, really harsh, like, you know, getting like pamphlets sent to our house saying, make sure your kids don't pick up heroin needles on the
Holy
playground
cow.
and shit. But yeah, Dr. Kersey was just a ruthless, like, pedophile probably. And yeah, he used to paddle all the kids in school. I was one of them that he picked on pretty bad.
See, and he had like found you in the office with like.
Well, he found me in the
Do that?
office making copies of the first rap I ever wrote. And my idiot friend, because we're in the 5th grade, told me that he was going to take a copy of my raps to the radio station. And I thought that made all the sense in the world. I mean, I don't know why. I was like, all right, I'll make some copies for you. So I went to the office. I was making copies, and he's like, what you got there, Mr. Atha? He had like that lisp and a toupee and a mustache.
It sounded like a Family Guy character just now.
Yeah, no, he fully was that guy.
And
yeah, and he just started reading it out loud, and it was full of curse words and shit. Standing in the office, I was like,
you probably don't remember any of it though.
nah, I don't remember. It was just, you know, trying to be tough.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he suspended me. My mom came to the she came to the school to get me, and she didn't know why I was being suspended yet. And he handed her, he was like, this is why I'm sending him home, you know, like gave her the paper. And she snapped on him.
Oh,
told me
yeah.
to go back to class. So
Find something more important to
yeah,
penalize you for.
yeah. So I knew she had my back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was
And
good time.
now, one of your biggest collabs to date was Mixing Up the Medicine, which I find fitting because wasn't there actually a time when you were passing out Pepto-Bismol back in the day?
Yeah, I was mixing up the medicine with the entire gay community of San Francisco at one point.
Can you explain?
Well, when I moved out to Berkeley, California, well, I didn't. Okay, let me backtrack. I took a car with a buddy of mine and drove cross country to. Well, for no reason, really. I had no license. I had no registration. I had bad tags. And somehow we made it from Alabama to California in a 87 two-door Honda in 2.5 days. We ended up going to skate trade show in San Diego and then up to Berkeley. And we just started squatting in old frat houses and shit.
Yeah.
And we were just hustling, trying to find whatever jobs. A job came around where we get $10 an hour to hand out samples, and it could have been like a Coca-Cola sample. It could have been Haagen-Dazs. Well, one of the days it was Pepto-Bismol at the Gay Pride Festival
Jeez.
in San Francisco.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was a lot of... I had to go home early. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And that ended up...
I mean, whatever. It was actually funny, but... Yeah.
But it actually
Jesus.
ended up leading to like your first real studio experience?
One of them, yeah, I met after a day of work. That day of work, actually, skated up to this. There was some event going on up the street, and there was a big Def Jam bus parked outside, and I just skated up to the guy standing in front of it and pulled the old, "Hey, I rap," and he like looked at me up and down, and he was like, I don't even want to hear you rap.
Yeah.
Just meet me. Literally, it went like these, like, man, just meet me tomorrow. He gave me an address in Oakland. If you rap, I want to hear you in the studio tomorrow.
Wow.
I guess he was just like, he just looked at me and he's like, if he can rap, this will work, you know?
Yeah.
Cause,
Take a chance on it.
yeah, because I was dirtbag skateboarder.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, I ended up at the Grill Recording Studios in Oakland working with Lev and Will for a little while. Nothing ever came of it. You know, it's just all practice, really.
Yeah, totally. And
But it was
experience.
cool. Yeah.
And you mentioned making copies earlier. You, of course, received your fair share of comparisons to M early on in your career, mainly just, being a fellow white rapper, when in fact it was more so Eric McAnally, the Southside hustler, who kind of gave you the courage to ultimately pursue a career in rap?
Eric McAnally was a local rapper out of Nashville who was the first white boy that I had ever seen who had real street credibility and was rapping, but no one was questioning his authenticity.
Yeah.
It was around when Vanilla Ice was huge, but even, and I was like, 10, 11 years old, and I remember even all my older friends, I had 15, 16-year-old friends, and they were always drilling in my head, no, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. All these people making fun of Vanilla Ice, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
He's really a dope boy. He really does this. So I was like, it set such a seed in me to like back the authentic shit, you know. And years later, as time went by, it's like really understanding how special that actually was.
Totally.
For how far long ago that was, and how progressive that he was with his style.
Yeah.
And his realness, So yeah, Eric McAnally, man,
Shout out.
I watched I was neighbors with him, so I watched his apartment burn down from my front porch.
Crazy.
So I just watched from afar. I didn't meet him till I was already signed to Interscope.
Oh, okay. He was okay though, like nothing happened from the house burning down?
Yeah, no, he was just like his little brother, I think, caught the grill on fire, and I just remember his little brother throwing like all his clothes and shoes off the balcony, trying to save all his stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, but yeah, man.
Terrible. It was at the Graceland Estates though where things really started coming together for you?
Graceland Estates Trailer Park in Huntsville was really like the place that, it clicked. I had been making music. I had even done Creekwater, and but I was really monotone. I started to understand the concept on Creekwater, but I didn't understand where I could go with my vocal range, and I still hadn't started flipping and chopping.
Yeah.
So when I got to that trailer park, though, I started realizing like the raw irony of that dude riding by in that drop top Thunderbird with a mullet and Dixie flag stickers on his bumper, but he's playing 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's what it is, huh?
Crazy.
And so I I just started. And the first record I wrote after that like moment was a record called White Boy from Alabama.
Okay.
And that's how it started.
Hell yeah. You mentioned 3-6. You see, I'm rocking the 3-6, but conversely, that was with your boy 6 Trey.
Yeah. 6 Trey was the person who introduced me to a group of people out there that I worked in the studio with for a while. It was just, we did a mixtape called Pissing in a Barrel of Bees. And then, after that, nothing was really coming of anything there. I was working at a mattress store, living in a trailer park, like whatever.
Yeah.
So I moved to Atlanta and got it going.
Crazy.
For myself.
And now you're from the Bible Belt, the heart of Dixie more specifically. And with that in mind, I understand if Heaven Ain't a Lot Like Dixie holds quite a bit of significance for you.
Yeah, If Heaven Ain't a Lot Like Dixie was my first performance ever. My Uncle Buddy had a band called The New Dixie, and my Uncle Buddy.
Okay.
He was performing at like the town hall, and I was like 5 years old, and I had already known the lyrics or the hook.
Yeah.
And he pulled me up on his hip and let me sing it. So I killed it.
Yeah. And here we are.
Yeah.
Early on in your career, though, if I'm not mistaken, you had a bit of an issue with like getting hammered before a lot of your shows, which is an association that I suppose could perhaps be traced back to your childhood, since you went to work with your mom a lot, who was a bartender. But also, wasn't there actually like a tool belt that one of her stagehand boyfriends had bestowed upon you? Like, did you ever get any use out of that on any of their tours?
Well, when my mom was with her first long-term boyfriend, John Orchard was his name, and he was the light and sound design for. Well, he toured with Alice Cooper and Ted Nugent, and he also worked with Alabama. So during the June Jam, I got coined the world's youngest stagehand, because the crew, they just kind of adopted me as so I just put on the belt and running around with Dwight Yoakam and Alabama and Randy Travis, and I was in it,
Crazy.
But as far as drinking before shows go, I never get drunk before I perform ever.
Yeah.
I don't fuck around like that.
Totally.
But I do drink too much. So
Okay. Fair enough.
doesn't even matter.
Yeah. And you have the John Orchard in particular to thank for your hip hop roots?
Yeah, definitely the first. Well, through him, he had did the Walk This Way tour years before with Run DMC and Aerosmith, and Run DMC had came back through Alabama, I believe, is the story, and the crew came to my house, and I don't know if Run DMC themselves came to my house. I just remember, like...
Is that how he tells it, though? That it was them specifically?
Yeah, he said, well... Yeah, he's like, they came to the house, and I never talked to him.
Yeah.
But I just remember, like, 10 black dudes rolling into my crib.
Yeah.
They gave me a Walk This Way tour T-shirt, which, God, man, if I had that thing. Or Run DMC Walk This Way, and License to Ill.
Some My Adidas as well?
My Adidas and License to Ill tapes. And it was Paul Revere. That song was just repeat.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it wasn't like, hey, this is hip hop.
Yeah.
Because there was no such thing. It was just music. I didn't know what it was I was listening to.
Right.
Could have been rock and roll for all I knew.
Totally.
I just knew that I liked it.
And before we wrap it up here, you certainly had to earn your stripes, though, because long before you became known for the song Pop the Trunk, it's what you were doing, like a lot of upcoming artists around that time, in order to sell your CDs and whatnot. But not only that, but your T-shirt line, Alabama Language, as well.
Yeah, I was working at a print shop in Gadsden, and I would take the leftover hats or leftover shirts, or I would order with my check, like, blanks, and I would make my own graphics, and I called it Alabama Language, and I would put it on mesh hats and shirts, and I made a little store in the trunk of my box Chevy, and I used to pop the trunk, and I had a sign up there, and my shirts were all laid out and folded. It was a proper presentation.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I used to park on at Penny Profits.
Oh, okay.
On the strip in Gadsden, and sell shirts. Just whatever I could do to hustle. I've always been that way.
You still got any laying around, or probably not by now? All about this American
I don't
now?
have any, but there are some floating around for sure. Cause
Okay.
I sold a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
I know my cousins and some of my buddies from Gadsden, they still got some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you think people should know about Yelawolf?
Cambo's got an Alabama slang, which hat.
Oh, does he?
I don't know how he got a hold of it, but he's got one.
Yeah.
Say what?
Is there anything else you think people should know about Yelawolf?
Well, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else to know about me at all.
Yeah, pretty much sums it up. Well, thank you so much for your time, man. It was great
All
chatting
right.
with you. Best wishes with everything coming your way. Is there anything else you want to say to people out there watching?
That's
Any
it.
final thoughts?
Thank you, Karmaloop. Bye, Slamerican.
There you have it. Once again, I'm Damon Campbell, and this is Yelawolf. Thanks for watching.
Later.